Well, so Washington has officially found their guy to lead their franchise for the next 4 to 5 years, but it is not what everybody expected. So the whole Ben Johnson thing, that went out the blue. So now we got Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, who was a part of the 28-3 Atlanta Falcons collapse. Atlanta Falcons collapse, people. But I'm gonna be up here. I'm gonna defend the hire. This is Enter the Lab podcast, presented by Red Zone. And I mean Red Zone DC Media.
My fault. What happened? I'll eat his Popeye.
This man says eating some Popeyes. Commercial.
I'm ready for a break.
Save this clip.
Wipe your hands. Wipe your hands. And
Commercial.
We over here about to die thirst over here.
Thing on the menu today, bro, and that's work. That's work for 60 minutes, bro. That's the only job we got to do today, bro. What you playing for? What you playing for? What you playing for? What y'all?
Get real lonely with the mic on, bro. I want to talk to my friend.
What is up, everybody? This is Enter the Lab podcast. We back on another lovely Thursday. It has been a wild week. It has been a wild week in the NFL spectrum. We got Lady E. We got C. Henry. OC Henry. OC Henry. OC Henry.
Yeah, man. My head is down, but I'm trying to get it up, man. Hey, pause. I don't even know if that's pausable, but hey.
It's slightly possible.
Listen, man. Tough week, but I'm happy to be here, man. Yeah. Off season. We in Cancun. We in Turks. We in, you know what I'm saying, Mykonos now, but we're a little wounded, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's time for the off season. It's time for my man Brad to put it together, though, baby. But, yeah, we definitely went fishing, baby.
Oh, man. But before we even get to that, we got to talk about the news of the day. So, a week that has been pretty chaotic. Let's even start at the beginning of the week. So, it turns out that Ben Johnson has decided that he is going to be returning to the Detroit Lions. And the wild thing about that was the Washington Commanders brass was pivoting to Detroit mid-flight when they got the news. Big shocker. I mean, with
that aircraft to know with all the cuss words that was being said mid-flight.
Mid-flight. I mean, I'm not even talking about Jordan shoes. Mid-flight.
Mid-flight.
But I mean, it definitely was a shocker because, you know, everybody has been speculating, everybody has been saying, you know, the favorites to land of Ben Johnson services has been the Washington Commanders with the new ownership, Josh Harris and Adam Peters as the new GM. Been hearing for weeks from insiders and people others, but then Adam Schefter comes out and says, hold your horses. He may not be a definite lock as what people expected. And when Schefter says something, we have to take those words very, very serious because, you know, he's very much in depth within the NFL. And, you know, to be honest with you, I was disappointed at how it happened. I mean, you know, you can definitely come back. There's nothing wrong with coming back to, you know, an organization like Detroit that's growing and has exceeded all the expectations that everybody had from this year. Getting to the NFC Championship game and was 30 minutes away from winning, heading to their first Super Bowl in the franchise history. But I think the professionalism was kind of lacking there. I felt like, you know, if you're going to tell somebody, hey, I feel like I shouldn't take the job this year, I should give them a heads up before, you know, they book a flight, because we guys may have some bread, but that's still bread. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Washington now moves on and they look at other options they had. So what are y'all thoughts about the Ben Johnson waiting a whole nother year again, let's start with you, C. Henry, because you're very much in depth with the Detroit Lions and stuff. So, and you were kind of asking these questions as well as like, and the biggest question I had for him as well was, we know he can call plays, but what about him as a leader? What about him as a guy that's going to be met?
Yeah, man. Interesting point of view that you guys have on it. I would say this. I think that he's still a young guy. He hasn't been in the NFL that long. This is second year coordinating our offense. I don't think he has previous coordinating experience, college or pro. So with that being said, I think that he's still kind of fine-tuning himself, fine-tuning his skills, whether it be X's and O's, whether it be his interpersonal skills, whether it be his leadership skills. I think as a young coach, he's been a hot name for the last 2 years. And I think that you have to take some of these interviews. You have to take some of these opportunities to not only get the experience under your belt, but also, see what these organizations are talking about, see how they're built, see how where their mindset is, see what the management team is like that. So I think that he decided this year he wasn't ready to take that leap on his own this year. I don't think, and I'm not in the, that fan base, but my understanding was that, the contingency from Washington was coming to interview Aaron Glenn as well as Ben Johnson. So it wasn't like the plane was coming anyway. So he decided to take himself out of the court, out of the running for the job, not just that job, but for all jobs. And when he makes that decision, the timing is the timing, and he lets you guys know. I don't look at it as bad professionalism. I don't look at it as him being out of line. I think that, when it moved him is when he told you guys, possibly he could have had some doubts leading up to it. And again, I don't think these guys, this is the good old boy system, the good old boy owners. You're not going to keep turning them down. So I'm going to take the first one. I'm going to entertain it. If I have some questions and concerns or feelings like I'm not ready, then I can always back out. But, that's his decision, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think it's just us that's saying, is very unlikely something to happen. I think it's going around, league circles that, some people didn't like the way that was kind of handled on, Johnson's footstep.
You the only ones I'm talking. Y'all the only ones talking about it. I don't know what the league circles is talking about, but the fan base, y'all the only fan base that's talking about it. And with that being said, I heard he did not knock his interview out of the park, and he was not offered the job. So really, what we're talking about is a fan perception of him being the favorite for a job that he may have never been the favorite for. And the same people that we're talking about, said give pause to him being hired, were the same ones telling everybody that it was a done deal weeks ago in the playoffs. That, it's a done deal. As soon as the playoffs, this is over. But now all of a sudden, his price tags spooked some folks off. He may not be a lock. Well, maybe he was never a lock to begin with. What we've been hearing from the especially from the Commanders side is that they haven't had very many leaks to the to the public about anything, or to the press about anything. So maybe some folks just assumed this was going to happen, and maybe he wasn't the candidate that folks thought he was going to be. Maybe he got in there and kind of reminded them of a Sirianni a little bit. I don't know.
Sirianni.
That's nasty work. That is very nasty.
I'm just saying, these guys are young, 37. They may be great in X's and O's. They may be great at, learning the game, teaching the game to their area. I'm sorry, to their expertise, but managing men, controlling egos, demanding respect, that's a whole different ball game. And everybody may not be as seasoned as, we think they are ready to take that step.
So E, you're an outsider as well. So what do you think about
Very
what do you think about the Ben Johnson situation, and how that could possibly come into play maybe next year? I mean, more than likely there will be, again, like we always say every year, there's going to be better opportunities in terms of coaching. Eagles could be on the brink next year. Dallas Cowboys could be in a lame duck season and stuff like that. So what do you think about Ben Johnson possibly holding out for feeling like, well, maybe I want to go to a better situation where there has a little bit more talent. Because I do understand that Washington, for as much as we tout about, our job, and so I could be completely honest with you that I know deep down there are a lot of holes on this roster, and which is probably why it's scared a lot of. I wouldn't say scared, but it brings a lot of pause to coaches. Is like, well, I don't want to go somewhere where I'm going to fail instantly. It's going to be hard for me to build my resume and stuff up. I'd rather have somebody that's, a little bit more experienced than me take, some of the lumps.
Lumps and bumps. Yeah, I agree that first. Hi, Miss Allison. But I'm gonna say this. And this is just my perspective because I was talking about it earlier today. Like a lot of these young coaches that we have coming out, they're wanting to get out there. The Ben Johnson situation, I feel like, he might try to wait out. And I'm going to be honest with you. He might try to want a more stable team that has that's more stable when it comes down to the quarterback position, that kind of have like an offensive, defensive identity already, just missing that coach. And that's probably the situation where he kind of reconsidered, is like, hey, I'm going into a situation, and this is just not with the Washington Commanders. This can be with a lot of other teams. There was a lot of teams this year that had quarterback issues. But, hey, I'm walking into this. They just got 2 new GMs. Then you turn back around, they're still needing a quarterback situation. You don't know, the Commanders don't know what they're doing with EB. EB don't know what is happening with you guys. We don't know if Andy Reid is retiring and that's his job. We don't know if he's going to be retained as an OC. It was just a lot of moving parts when it came down to the Commanders. And that probably weighed on him a little bit. That probably kind of had him rethinking about the work that he was going to do. And then too, I'm going to be honest, he had a good game that was called against the 49ers, but it still wasn't a great game that was called. And that could probably weigh on him a little bit, that he feel like he don't want to probably leave Detroit, in a bad way like that. You know what I mean? He's probably trying to make up for it. So again, there could have been a lot of moving parts when it came down to it. Do I feel that that he's probably going to get blackballed? No. You know what I mean? He's not like a Brian Flores who kind of did some things, but I don't feel like that he's just going to get blackballed. Now, will they ask him about that in the upcoming interviews? Why did you pull your name out of consideration so late, or different things? And he may have a good explanation for it. I mean, again, Bobby went back after he didn't get the job in Atlanta. He went back and said, hey, I'm finna just stay at Houston. Ben Johnson could have said the same thing. You know what I mean? So again, there's a lot of moving parts with it, you know what I mean? And then too, again, with y'all hire now and with the complaints that EB has been getting, I feel like y'all made a locker room fit. Dan Quinn is a locker room guy. People will play for him. And y'all probably are trying to get that locker room built back up. And who's to say that Ben Johnson just probably didn't show that leadership ability to be able to get players to play for him? Maybe that's just not there just yet to be as a head coach. So again, I just feel like it's a lot of moving parts that we're just not privy to. We're going to find out probably as soon as the season gets, closer to the draft, or as soon as the season get closer, of what the real situation was. But I just feel like right now with a lot of these teams, especially like the teams this year, there are a lot of teams that literally need a quarterback, that got a lot of pieces that they have to do. Their front offices are a mess right now. You know what I mean? A lot of teams, but the money situation is looking good. But I think a lot of people too also learn from us, the Falcons, bringing in a hot coach like you're doing, but bringing him into a situation to where it's almost in a sense where he has to rebuild, he has to develop. And who's to say that Ben Johnson didn't want to do that? Maybe he wants a stable quarterback that he can sit over here. Okay, look, this is what it is, rather than trying to develop. You never know. He might be in a win now type of mode. Like, hey, get a team, give me about a year or two, and we're gonna win. Some coaches don't want to go through that whole rebuild stage.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely something I considered, with this regime, because the one thing they were screaming was leadership across the board. And I definitely feel like a lot of people are so stuck with, having the young and hot offensive coordinator or defensive mind, but they're missing the aspect that these are people that are probably older than you or probably around your age. And regardless if you're like your boss and stuff, you're going to get knocked in the teeth if you're not doing your job because they got kids to feed, they got bills to pay, they struggle, they don't know when they're going to get cut, they don't know when they're going to get traded. You know, all that stuff is on the table for an NFL franchise, and now this leads to the thing with today. So Washington has decided to hire Dan Quinn.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So I had a conversation with, for those that know, BJ Nix. He's one of the Cowboys content creators, a good friend of mine with NFC East, even though we are hated rivals. But had a conversation about Dan Quinn a couple of months ago, and I asked him, what do you think would lead him to leave Dallas? And he told me, well, the situation would definitely have to be right. The right people will have to be in there to help him succeed, and he can have a roster he can help gravitate to. And I think some of those things are, not all the way there, but there are some things that could project well for Washington. And from all the stuff I heard about him, and he could also tell me a little bit more about him as well. He gravitates the room. He's been in locker rooms. He's the player coach, and I know people said that about Ron Rivera, but I think this guy is more of the players coach. Like, he can speak the players' language by playing the same type of music that they listen to and talk the way they talk. And, these guys will play with him on Sunday. And he's also very great with X's and O's as well. And that's the thing on the defensive side for Washington. With some of the younger guys we have that didn't really play up to expectations, I think he can help these guys like Emmanuel Forbes or a Quan Martin or a Jamin Davis. These guys that's kind of been a little bit overdrafted, but they still have some talent. They can make plays on Sunday. I see that it just needs to be some consistency and have some teachers around them to teach them how to play the game and the nuances. It's not the sexiest hire. It's not the sexiest hire. I think that's the problem with the fan base. A lot of the national medias, like a Stephen A. has said, it's not the fantasy hire that everybody wanted with a Magic Johnson and a Josh Harris. But I feel like this was a solid hire because you're starting the foundation correctly with having a first-time GM getting ready to take over an NFL franchise, and to have a veteran coach that can, give him some advice and some things, talk through some things, what they could do together to help with this relationship and rebuild this team. So I'm actually one of those guys, man. Like, I'm going to give this guy a shot because I feel like, everybody deserves a second chance at anything. Sometimes you just got to learn from your mistakes. And, I feel like you shouldn't be cursed or punished for all the things of the past. Now, of course, we're always going to think about the past, and I'm a victim of that as well. But some of the best coaches we have seen, they got the opportunity of a second chance, and they succeeded with that, like a Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, or Reed in Kansas City. Now, I'm not saying he's one of those guys, but I think he's that guy that can lead forward in the Josh Harris era.
No, I mean, I agree. Go ahead, C.
No, I think he's a pretty good hire. I think a lot of folks hear his name and look at his tenure with the Cowboys, and it's been a little bit up and down. Even though that he's fielded some quality defenses there, but they forget about the period of time that he was in Atlanta. That team, if I'm not mistaken, they have 2 or 3 winning seasons. That while he was the head coach there, took them to a Super Bowl. Again, you may talk about possibly, in my mind, maybe of Rabel, but of all of the remaining candidates, he was probably the most experienced one, the most decorated one. And again, you get somebody who is very, very, very familiar with the division. I think that's a very, very key component, especially when you say with this new GM coming in, you got somebody who is very, very aware of the importance of the rivalries in that division, and is schematically aware of what's going on right now with those teams. Doesn't have to kind of get up to speed on what's going on. I think that's a tremendous advantage. He can just immediately hit the ground running. I don't know if he's going to run the defense. Well, I saw he picked up the DB coach, I believe, from Dallas. So he's going to probably hit the ground running, installing his defense. I'm trying to see who's going to be his offensive coordinator. I know I wasn't in the space today, but I know the initials EB probably came up at least 50 times today. I'm just trying. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think it's going to be him. But we'll see. Have they named the OC yet, or what's going on?
No, they haven't named the OC, but I don't think it's going to be EB from the way it's looking. I think they're going to go back.
You know, somebody was saying, you know, he's still under contract and all that good stuff, man. It's been interesting in that room the last couple of days, man. But
now look, we see with Ben Johnson, you know, he changed up last minute. You never know. Maybe it takes a conversation with Dan Quinn and EB in the room, and EB gives him a plan, and you know, Dan Quinn buys into his plan, you know, and that also be continuity with the guys on the roster. Probably address some of the needs that we need offensively, because it's a little bit more defensive talent on the team than offensive talent, to be quite honest with you. But from what I'm hearing, it's looking like they're going to try to dip back into Shanahan tree and
ready to say that,
and get Kubiak's boys, Clay and
Clint.
Clay and Clint.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's one thing in Atlanta that Dan kind of messed up with is once Shanahan left. If we go back and look at our staff that we had on the Falcons, is very ashamed that we didn't promote anybody, or Dan Quinn didn't try to keep anybody on that staff and promote them before they got poached, you know, to go play at San Francisco or to go coach for other teams. So when they got Sarkisian to come in, they basically gave him Shanahan's playbook and said, we want you to do this. Instead of letting him try to incorporate some of that and use some of what he already knew, I feel like, and this is where the issue comes to me about the whole Dan Quinn era with the Falcons, is that one, we basically were playing people out of position. Because I promise you, if Vic Beasley was playing his natural position, we probably would have got more out of him than what we did trying to play him out of position. Same thing with a couple of players like Debo, Deion Jones. If we would have played him in his natural position, we probably could have got a better, you know, feel for him later on. So it just, again, and then when we go look at the Cowboys and he actually got some of those pieces to create the defense that he wanted, we saw a different Dan Quinn. We were even like, okay, so where were you when you were the coach and this is what you were supposed to do? So again, that was just kind of for us more so a slap in the face, because again, I feel like Sarkisian was legitimately the scapegoat. That before the season he got fired, I think he was a scapegoat because everything didn't match, and everybody knew in the Falcons organization it takes Matt Ryan 2 seasons to get comfortable, because again, folks don't realize that Matt and Shanahan didn't get along. They was literally on the sideline arguing with each other. It didn't go into the Super Bowl season with us that they finally got everything and things started getting the click. But then when they switched over to Sarkisian, Matt had to learn what Stark was trying to do. And we all knew it was going to do that, but they went ahead and said, bloop, we're going to get you out the door. We're going to bring somebody else that's familiar with Matt Ryan that can get in. That's when we got Derek Coder from, you know, the Tampa Bay coach. So again, during his tenure, and I kind of put this closer to our owner as well. He wanted to go back to the Super Bowl so bad that they were trying to make moves to get us back to the Super Bowl, and it kind of messed up. And again, I just feel like Dan Quinn just wasn't prepared. His time management was bad as a head coach. His time management was bad as a head coach. There were certain things that he just was not good at. It was just a mess in Atlanta. I feel like I feel again that with him having the experience, understanding now what he needs to do, actually spending time back in the coordinator position, and kind of getting the feel of how things are ran and trying to run it again, I believe he's going to be better this time. The thing about it is he just needs the pieces that he needs, and then he needs the GM that understands the same thing. I don't feel like our GM understood. So if the GM and him can get together, understand with the offensive coordinator, and if he's going to keep the same defense that he ran in Dallas, and if he got his guys that's going to run it, he needs to focus on head coaching. He don't need to worry about the defense. He doesn't need to worry about all of that. He needs a middleman to where if he wants something changed or whatever, he'll have it. But he needs to focus on coaching, point blank, period. So that's just me. Again, I feel like he's a good guy. I really do. I hate that the experience didn't happen, but we did have 2 good seasons with him. Our 2017 actually defense was better than our 2016 defense, so he can produce. He has shown that he can produce, and he has shown that even in Atlanta, in Dallas, that he can produce. Go ahead.
I got a question. I got a question for DT, the Commander fan in the building. So you got your coach. This coaching search was your first really iteration with this new management group and this new GM, kind of, their first rodeo together. How would you categorize this first search? Are you happy? Do you think it was thorough? Could there have been some things done differently?
I think it was thorough, and I'm not trying to say this with like I'm the most optimistic person because I could always be in the middle. But for me, with my PTSD, I have seen, this old past regime. Usually, they would hire the head coach first, then they would hire the GM, and the GM and the head coach would never have a good relationship whatsoever. Or it could be they hired an offensive coordinator before they didn't even have a head coach, and then they decided, well, hey, nobody's coming here. I'm gonna make you the head coach, aka Jim Zorn. So I have seen almost every bad way that has led to the season for us, and multitude of ways for almost the 10 to 15 years of my life watching Commanders football. So for the first time out of life, I actually seen with a new regime, their first time, they decided, hey, let's find the people we want to help in the front office first, which is get the hottest guy. There's Adam Peters coming from an organization that has been consistent with the talent they have developed and has been in the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl in the past 5 to 6 years. And they got a guy who, this is his second opportunity, but he's well respected around the league. He has won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. He assembled that staff in Atlanta, and they got them to a Super Bowl, and they were one play away, even after post Shanahan, from getting back in the NFC Championship again against the Philadelphia Eagles at the time. And, I think this is probably the most competent front office and way of finding your head coach I have seen in a while. Now, will that lead to 10 plus win seasons? We'll find out. I don't think we're going to start off that way. I'm going to trust the process. For a lot of people, have been coming in my comments today, but you have to trust the process because you have to realize, Washington is not what we expected for the past couple of years. It's time to realize, we had to build this from the ground up.
Yeah.
That includes
and I don't think a lot of people understand that either. I think even after kind of listening to your guys' spaces, I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like it was sounding like you guys were just a coach away from doing it, but I'm like, y'all are not even a coach away. Y'all just auctioned off two. I guess you can put the question mark on Chase Young, but y'all auctioned off 2 of y'all greatest defensive linemen. Like when you think about it, you know what I mean? Y'all legitimately did that. Y'all started doing a fire sale mid-season. So when you start seeing teams like that, and as even going to see Henry's question is like with the new management group, they saw something that they didn't like, and that they're thinking about, like, you know what? Hey, let's just blow it up. We got money coming in. We can make some splashes in the offseason with the new coach, and then we can just build through the draft. I feel like you got the best thing with Dan Quinn in that situation. It's just, again, big question mark. because there's not a lot of OC talent going on right now. And if you're going to poach, you're going to have to poach and you're going to have to pay. We all know that to get somebody to leave. So it's not an easy thing for you guys right now. So again, we won't know if this would be a bad hire. We have to wait probably about 2 to 3 years to even tell if this is going to be, especially from where you guys are coming from, if this was a good hire or a bad hire or not. You can't make that determination, in my honest opinion, off of the first season. I'm just being honest.
They have to nail the OC and the quarterback.
Have to. That is a must for you guys right now. I'll be honest with you. That is seriously a must.
Well, I'm gonna be honest too. Yeah, it is a must. But I'm gonna tell you though, to be honest, where the way I see this team, it's not a must that you hit on it this year. I don't know what direction you may go, but you got a guy in Sam who, unfortunately, it's too early to say what he's going to be, but I think he can be a competent bridge guy. Now, if you guys don't fall in love with somebody this year, I'm not saying push the button this year. You got a guy who can possibly win you, again, 4 or 5 games, possibly progress the program as you get more talent, and possibly next year there's a quarterback who you love. But you guys at the number 2 pick?
Yeah,
so it's pretty much either Caleb, Drake, or Jaden if you go the quarterback route.
But here's the thing that I'm concerned with the Commanders since of the hiring of Dan Quinn. It really is going to depend on if Dan really wants to keep EB in the building. If they do, I feel like they're going to stick with what they're going to do and try to get the other pieces to start building, and probably wait until next year's draft to probably get somebody. Because, you're sitting at number 2. You can get draft capital to go in and get some of the guys that you need on defense and offense to already have the pieces that you want, and then you can go get your quarterback next year. Or you can get your quarterback this year, but then the thing is, what about some of the pieces that you need? So I don't think this offseason has any, spectacular talent in that regard. As far as
they got, as I was told, they got all this cap money, and they got 6 picks. You know what I'm saying? They was the most attractive job on the market. You know what I'm talking about? So Washington ain't no bad destination for free agents to come. So it may not take that long. It may not. If they fall in love with a guy though, you got to take him. I don't even know who's coming out of next year's class.
You got Deion's son that's coming out. You got Carson Beck that's going to be coming out. And it's a couple of first of all, you better hope JJ even make it in the first round. Don't do that.
I'm not worried about just like JJ before the game, he be in that zen. I'm not worried about JJ. He gonna be okay. What I done seen of Penix this week, JJ gonna be all right. He gonna be all right.
Look, both of us look like what? Okay.
Oh God, y'all don't got started. Man. But I still think this is an attractive job based on the fact there's no guy that you have to say Mr. Snyder or have to be toxic or stuff like that, because we have dealt with that for so long. Now it's the reality is, okay, they're gone, but this roster is it needs some work, and who wants to come in here and do all the work and take their time with it, because the NFL is not for long.
So yeah, I don't think it's an unattractive job, but I think it's a job that, when you look at it, again, there's, like you said, there's a lot of work to do with the roster. My man, the new GM, again, I'm just an objective guy here. We gotta see what he can do, because we don't know if he gonna hit on the draft picks. You know what I'm saying? We hoping that he does, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? How patient is the ownership?
What? Sorry, y'all. Breaking news. The Raiders just hired Kingsbury.
What?
Yeah, they hired their OC.
As the OC?
As the OC. Hold on.
The train off for Campbell?
They're gonna be high trade partners. Yep.
Jaden Daniels?
What pick are the Raiders?
Like
Ooh, 6.
7 or 9. Hold
I
on,
think that wait, hold on. Cause it goes, I know is Chicago, y'all, the Patriots. Are they
they're
4?
11.
They're 11.
Nah,
They gonna try to trade up.
Nah, that's a long way. That's a long way.
Hey, right now the
I
Patriots.
hope not. Don't do that. Don't do that. I need y'all to do something. I don't need Chicago to get 3 or 4 first round picks. I need y'all to do something. Go and get y'all son of Washington. I don't need Chicago to get 3 or 4 first round picks, man. Golly. I need y'all to do something, man.
I think I put it to you like this. I think in all retrospect, and I'm just being honest about it. If anything, right now the Patriots are very uncertain what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I think they just made some hires today, right? Then they made some hires today.
And then the Cardinals sitting right there after the Patriots.
I don't think the Patriots trading up for Caleb. I mean,
you mean Raiders?
No. You said the Patriots, right? We don't know what they're going to do.
No, I said the Patriots are sitting there at 3, and then you got the Cardinals at 4. The Raiders are at 11. Right now, the Patriots don't know what they're going to do with their quarterback situation.
Well, I'm talking about Caleb. Caleb, I don't think drops out of the top 2. I don't believe. So,
but depending on who
feels though. Like what's going to happen? If Fields really going to stay in Chicago, or they're going to move on with him?
That's the basically right now. Chicago holds all the cards at this point.
Yeah,
they really hold all the cards at this point.
And I think they'll, and it's kind of like, what can I get? Because I think when you look at Justin Fields, I don't know what you can possibly get. I'm just ballparking it, but I think you get probably less for him than you can get for like a Caleb. I think folks really, really like Caleb, even though he's the unknown. I think you can get possibly multiple first round picks for that number 1 pick. While for Justin, I don't know if you can get multiple first. If you can get a first,
he not getting. Nobody is not giving up a first for Justin Fields.
But I think you can get multiple picks. So I think you maybe get like a second.
No, yeah, you can get multiple picks. Yeah. I feel like the highest pick you can get for him is a second. And the thing about it is, it might be coming from a team that has a lower tier second, but I think that would be the highest pick that you can get is a second. That's the situation.
I'm gonna ask one more question about these coaches and this little draft. We didn't already jump into the draft situation after the breaking news.
Yeah,
but DT, man, are you we know you a Caleb guy, but are you or maybe you're not a Caleb guy? Out of those 3 guys that we named, Caleb, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels, who's your preference?
Better leave Jaden Daniels alone.
Why y'all hating on Jaden?
I like
that's for us.
I like all 3, and all of them have flaws. I think with Caleb, for how touted he is, I would have to go with him first. Now, between Drake May and Jaden Daniels, I know Jaden Daniels probably has the better film for this year over Drake May, and it's kind of weird how Drake May last year is very similar to Sam Howell's last year with, the statistical and how the team is playing around him. But I think, he's obviously the more prototypical style quarterback that a lot of GMs and scouts would prefer to have on their team. I'm just concerned with the inconsistencies of Drake May. Sometimes he's accurate on like the easy routine throws, but then it's just like a simple curl round. He's throwing it all the way to downfield, and you're like, what in the world are you doing? And with Jaden, it's about, everybody talk about the weight, but he's 6'4", and Lamar was like 205 and came in, but Lamar is just a different cat. Jaden, I don't see little Lamar Jackson like movement like he does. He's a little bit more, he got speed, but it's not like Lamar's like shiftiness. And I'm worried about him learning to get away from the bigger hits and be smarter in the NFL. But so I would probably go with Caleb as my favorite right now because I seen him play for 2 years with first round wide receiver and without really first round wide receivers, it still produced.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It just all depends on your coach, who your OC gonna
Yeah,
be.
that's the OC too. I mean, like if I was to say Clint Kubiak, I would say all three of them would fit in that type of system. It's all going to be about who's playing more consistently in the structure of that offense, because sometimes you have to play within that structure.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
you talking about Jayden Daniels now. Now let me ask you this: if you had the choice of Jayden Daniels at what is it, 8 that you guys choose at 8?
Yeah, we had 8.
or Justin Fields for a second round this year, a fourth round this year, and a third round next year.
So here goes the issue. Atlanta only makes that trade for Justin Fields if Calvin Ridley signs his extension by March 12th. If Calvin Ridley does not sign that extension by March 12th, and the Jacksonville Jaguars decide to give him a new deal at the new league year, the pick that we could have got that was a second stays a third, and that puts us in a bind. That extra second round would be the main reason why we would give up those picks for Justin Fields. So that plays a part in that, and that's if Chicago wants to move off from him to even get that. So then that's when you have to come into play the hope that Jayden Daniels falls down to 8. If not, we're going to have to find other trade partners to try to move up. If it's looking like Jayden Daniels, because then if that's not the case, then the other options behind that look kind of sad. Unless Penix falls to us, that would probably more than likely be another option. But again, we're kind of sitting in a bad situation with us needing a quarterback at this time. So it's either you gotta go Justin Fields, or you literally are gonna have to either try to see if you can stay put. If not, you're gonna have to move up to go. That's the end all be all for that situation where we're sitting at.
Yeah. So y'all got a high little second round pick too, huh?
Exactly. And that would more than
y'all
likely
you
be
talking all this trash. You might be in the JJ sweepstakes, bro. That's what
I don't want to be in the JJ sweepstakes.
Look, you sound like you might be in the JJ sweepstakes. You know what I'm saying?
If that's the case, I'm gonna just keep reading.
Make sure, listen, man. This might be cuttable right here, man. This might be, snip, cut this up. Because I'm telling you, JJ gonna get. I think he might go top 20, but for sure he might slide early second round. That might be it.
Arthur Smith being at the Steelers right now, I'm just saying that's his type of guy.
that makes sense too. All them teams.
That's his type of guy. Just know that him and Pickens are going to be fighting.
But you don't know Ryan Tannehill about to be a Steeler. That's what y'all don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tannehill might win that job.
If Arthur prefers Tannehill, there's going to be a lot of unhappy Steeler fans. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm gonna say.
Seattle at 16 with Jim Harbaugh. Watch out now. But okay, let's keep it moving. Man.
Let's go ahead and talk about the bag that's been fumbled. Right. Let's talk about the elephant. So, C. Henry.
The
Lions.
Are we first?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
let's talk Baltimore. Let's give Henry some time.
Sure, I've been debating this every day with the kids, man. I was like, no, bro. It shouldn't have been that way. But we can start with Baltimore because the Lions part can be juicy. So let's talk about that bag. Baltimore Ravens had the number 1 seed, and they lose the number 1 seed to the Kansas City Chiefs as Patrick Mahomes has found another way to get to the Super Bowl once again, and we've seen another Baltimore Ravens collapse. So, guys, I think we have to have this conversation, man, because as much as we love Lamar, we understand the pressure and stuff. When you get paid like that, you got to win those type of games against those guys. the moment has to be there for you. And the same energy that we applied for Josh Allen last week and all the things going on, we got to do that for Lamar Jackson too. We got to do that for Dak Prescott too. Like we have to be fair. 2-4 in the playoffs. Offense was just very erratic outside of that off-script play to Zay Flowers. They really couldn't do anything against a Chiefs defense that everybody, I felt like, outside of us maybe slept on with the talent at corner and how they, went up against that offense. And, of course they didn't run the ball consistently, but it's that stuff. Like it just did not go well for Baltimore, and that label is going to be with Lamar until he gets the opportunity in the playoffs next year. So, what y'all think about the Baltimore class, man? And they lose their DC, they're losing the defensive back coach. Like, what do you think Baltimore going to be doing next year, man? They're going to have a huge offseason and all the stuff going on around them and narrative.
They just promoted Zach Orr to their DC as well. So right now it's a question mark. Some Baltimore fans are blaming John Harbaugh on that situation. They're blaming him for it, and I'm just like, the issue that I had watching that game was more so with just I'm not even going to blame the offensive play. It's just the defense. Where was the defense? And then the only thing that I am legitimately going to question Todd Monken on is that you're running the ball. Why stop? Like, why are we not, like, why are you not continuing running the ball? Like, I feel like they kind of got into a panic mode.
Both games. Shit.
Yeah, like it's like, I call it the Kyle Shanahan effect. Stop running the freaking ball. Like, you got something going, and you're doing something. What does this look like?
I got some breaking news.
What?
So UCLA head coach Chip Kelly is a potential candidate for Commanders OC under new head coach Dan Quinn.
That Chip Kelly might be y'all new OC. Somebody said that.
Damn, EB, it's not looking, man. I hate to say it, man, but man,
Hey, man, sometimes I gotta give people flowers, man. And
so listen, man. So Lamar, man. So Lamar now. Lamar now, man. You know what, man? We got to ask the question, man, because I thought this was going to be the year for Lamar. I thought his defense, even in this game, they played a pretty good game. 17 points, gave up no points in the second half. They kind of made the adjustments that you need. And you got to expect the MVP of the league, man, to be able to score more points than what? They scored 10 points, 17-10. Did they even score offensively? Or Lamar got to be better. Lamar threw a pick. Lamar had a strip sack. Lamar didn't run the football. They didn't run the football as a team. I think they had total 16 rushes total in this game.
Yeah.
And that's really
wasn't only on 6 attempts too? 6 attempts for 16.
Well, 6 for the running backs. Lamar had, I think, 8 carries for like 54 yards. But
okay.
Gus Edwards 3 carries. Zay Flowers 2 carries. Justice Hill 2 carries, 3 carries. Maybe one of these free agent running backs sign up for from Baltimore next year. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. That'll be dope. Saquon go over there. Eckler, somebody. But with that being said, man, Lamar, man, if you want to be talked about in that echelon with the Mahomes, with the Burrow, somewhat with the Josh Allen, I think they kind of in the same thing, except Josh Allen scored 3 touchdowns in his game. You know what I'm saying? He may have had a turnover here and 2, but he at least, seemed like he showed up. Where was Lamar at? Where was Lamar? Where was OBJ? Y'all told me that he was supposed to be upgraded. He was supposed to be almost, 80% of himself. You know what I'm saying? Where was he at?
Hey man,
Rashad
Yeah,
Bateman,
but I don't.
Odell.
I don't be honest with you.
Nelson
I think-
Aguilar. Where we?
Hey,
And
Odell.
as I recite these names, I just really want to say that they improved their pass catching situation. That narrative, they ain't really improved their pass catching situation. Not really. Man.
I mean, that's
it was
the
still
truth,
very middish.
though.
Zay Flowers was the best addition. You had Mark Andrews. He still was a shell of himself, injured. I mean, Lamar ain't show up, and neither did his supporting cast, and that's why they only scored the 10 points. And Mahomes, I'm gonna give it to him. He did have Kelsey, a good soldier with him, 11 catches, 116 yards. But when he needed a key play, he got Justin Watson to make a play. When he needed a key play, he threw it just soft enough to MVS so he can dropped it right in the bucket on him. So you can't drop this one. I can't put it on you no better. You know what I'm saying? And he made those guys step up and make plays, man, and put them in position to make plays. He added to his legacy, and Lamar unfortunately added to his legacy. And they're not the same legacy. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Amen.
Like I said, I know a lot of people are saying that he didn't show up. I feel like Lamar did, but I feel like like you said, the supporting cast kind of let him down a little bit, especially that defense. That wasn't that defense that we saw. That played.
They held him to 17 points.
17 points with too much.
What you want him to do?
17
Hey.
points. Not.
Lamar
and they scored 17 in the first half. Lamar, you the MVP, buddy.
Kansas really couldn't get anything else going in the second half. It again. I just felt like
and apparently neither could Baltimore.
You know what? I know. Look. I know Henry wanted.
Just Edwards over there. You know what I'm saying? He just over there chilling. Justice Hill just over there. They just over there chilling. You ain't gonna run the ball, Mr. Monken. You ain't gonna run the ball.
He talking all of this right now so he get his laugh out. Cause when we start getting we gonna
laugh about these Lions too. Shit, we gonna laugh about them too.
Hey man,
Mr. Monken, 16 rushes.
Let me get my joke off. Odell out there looking like he had band camp knees, bro.
Man, listen, man. I had to make sure Odell was active. I thought I had to check my fan duel because I had him in a little prop, and I'm like, damn. Usually when they don't play, they take him out your bet. I'm like, is he even out there? The third quarter, he's still on my sheet. I'm like, what? He ain't playing. He ain't even playing. They gotta take him on. Then he out there. He made it though. He made it. 3 catches, 22 yards. Was over 16 and a half. But yeah, man, they're gonna have to revamp of the wide receivers because it didn't work out. But he got to be better too, though. He got to be better. Be better.
But that just shows you experience versus inexperience as well.
We gotta stop talking about that because he didn't have some games too. He didn't have.
No, I know that. I'm just saying it's like the experience of KC. They knew how to play it.
The only thing I will say, as an indictment to John Harbaugh, maybe he could have said, "Hey, why aren't we running the ball more? We need to run the rock more." But I think really they wanted to put the onus. Kansas City defense wanted to put the onus on Lamar to beat them, and he couldn't do it. The supporting cast, they didn't throw the ball into triple coverage. Talking about he trying to get a PI. They didn't get the strip sack either. You know what I mean? So if you want to be recognized as a special player, you got to do the special things and you got to win these type of matchups. Otherwise, you kind of still just, you talented, but not quite there yet.
Yeah. Switching gears, we're going to the West Coast where the 49ers took on the Detroit Lions.
Jesus, take the wheel.
So I'm gonna say what I've been telling you and what I've been told you and what I've been saying. Dan Campbell needs to not go out there and try not to play a smart game. He doesn't need to be out here Dan Campbelling.
Here we go,
man. Listen, man. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, we gonna let you talk, Steve.
I don't even know what to say. Oh, I'm gonna get the ISO on this. Listen, I don't even know what to say. Check this out here, man. It started
You
off.
want a solo window?
It started off beautifully. Everything that I said we needed to do, I said we needed to stop the run. We held McCaffrey to 39 yards. Our running backs needed to outplay him. They had 125 or I think 128 yards, 130 yards combined at halftime. Had scored touchdowns. Defense was doing what they needed to do, putting pressure on Purdy. Only had the 2 sacks, but put pressure on him, causing him to turn the ball over. 24/7. It was looking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Was celebrating. I was ready to cry. Wife was looking at flights. We was getting ready. You know what I'm saying? For some monumental type shit going on here. You know what I'm talking about? And all of a sudden, the third quarter showed up, and I'm gonna tell y'all, man, I've been telling y'all this whole season. Dan, great job with the culture. Great job with the attitude. Great job with the preparation. I mean, we looked ready to play. The team was balling. Defense was balling. Held these boys in 7 points. They come out. This the breakdown. They come out the second half. They drive the ball right down the field. Right down the field. But we hold up. And this is why I have to give them I don't want to say praises because they ain't God, but I'm gonna have to give them their credit. Kyle Shanahan never got pulled out of his makeup, his mental makeup. He never pressed. He never put his foot on the gas. He was very, very, very composed in the moment. He showed the ultimate experience that Dan didn't have. They down 17. He ain't pressing. He ain't going for it on 4th down. He said, you know what? I will conveniently take these 3 points, even though my kicker missed in the first half. Took the 3, came down. We got the ball back. We went right back down the field. Theoretically punched him in the mouth, but at this point, our coach made a critical error in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Midway through the third quarter, we got a chance to put up 3 points. We got a kicker who just made a 54-yarder a couple weeks ago. It's ideal situations out here. Let this man kick this 48-yarder, man. That's what I'm saying. At that point now, we're talking about 8 or 9 minutes into the third quarter, and they've made up no ground. It's still a 3-score game. That's where you want to be. He didn't see it that way. I think this is where his over aggressiveness comes to bite us in the ass. And it's really not aggressive. It's really kind of coaching scare. You scared they're gonna catch you.
He panicked. At this
point, you got to understand that they're only going to touch the ball 5 or 6 times in the second half, and we can trade 3 for 3. We can trade 7 for 7 because they really ain't stopped us yet. To be honest with you, I think we punted 1 time at that point. But then, with that being said, we don't get it. We got the fluke dropped interception that hits off my man's face mask that went to Ayuk, and they caught it at the 4-yard line. They scored. Now we went from a 17-point game to a 7-point, dogfight. And then Jahmyr Gibbs fumbles. And at that point then, man, it was the momentum, the pendulum, as they say, had swung. And it was in their favor. But even at that point, we still have an opportunity in the fourth quarter to tie this game up with 7 minutes to go, and you still not gonna kick the field goal. Those are the decisions, man, that really, really, really irk me. And I understand the players definitely have a part in this. We definitely dropped a couple balls. Amon Ra dropped the ball. 2 drops were from Reynolds. So with that being said, definitely some plays that definitely could have been made. We dropped the interception that led to the 51-yard IU play. You can't make those the mistakes. The week before, I told you about the mistakes that Green Bay made. We did it. We lost. It's messed up. Hey, this therapy right here, man. Damn, man. Damn, Reynolds. Damn.
But I mean,
ooh,
I agree, and I legitimately told you.
What were you thinking about?
I literally legitimately told you that. I said, look, the key to this game is don't give San Francisco any type of opportunity. With turnovers or anything like that, don't give them no type of opportunity. And then after that, I said, Dan Campbell has to be smart. He has to play smart. If you know for a fact that you can get the points, get the points. Don't try to like. And I tell people, I said Dan panicked. He panicked. I'm gonna sit over there and say that he panicked.
And that's what happens. And that's what the problem I have, because a lot of his decisions, like he's done it a lot of. I'm not saying a lot of times. He has a good success rate at it. Let's say that. But even when he's done it, that play hasn't been really the definitive play that leads us to victory. Usually are 3 or 4 other plays. You know what I'm saying? We win it by 6, 7 other points. But there's been times where he hasn't gotten it, and a game that should have been a 7 or 8 or 9 point victory turns into a nail biter because we didn't take these points. But we win the game, and no one ever really talks about it. Times like in Green Bay, when we went for it early in the third quarter down by 9 points. Fake punt didn't work out. Now they go up by 16 because we give them the ball in favorable position. We don't talk about that. In the Dallas game, everyone's talking about the 2-point conversion that we didn't get, but we left points on the board early in the game where we went for it, and we shouldn't even been in that position. So that cost us the number 1 seed. So it's been a consistent pattern of BS here from time to time from my man Dan Campbell. And listen, the players got to get better. The coaching got to get better. AG got to get better in the second half. He didn't adjust to the adjustments, if you will. And Dan got to get better, man. He got to dial some of that shit back, man. We got to dial some of that.
He can't. That like, I feel like you can't always try to. I feel like he thought, like, okay, if I don't do this, me and San Francisco are going to be toe to toe. You don't take the points. You don't have to always go score a touchdown. And I think that was in his mindset, was that, look, I want 6 rather than 3. And sometimes you got to take what you get. Take the 3. I don't like 3 goals. I don't like field goals. I hate field goals. I tell my fan base that I'm like, I hate to make the points.
But I would take them versus nothing. I would take them
exactly. I'll take the points.
Especially when if we're gonna give up the rock, give it up 40 yards downfield. You know what I'm saying? Where we punting. You know what I'm saying? Don't let us drive down the ball 40, 50 yards. And you got to basically pull out a scoring drive, and now we end up with nothing. That again is another momentum switcher. So causes the momentum to change. So again, there was enough blame to go around. The players got to get better. The moment was too big for them, I think, at times. But I would have rather got blown out, to be honest with you, because, you know what I'm saying, it would have been a definitive win. I think this was more so we kind of gave this one away. Kudos to the 49ers. They kept playing. Kudos to Kyle Shanahan, because, again, the team that was behind by 17 points still had the wherewithal to say, what, we're going to take these 3. They took 3 twice. You know what I'm saying? After missing the kick in the first half. So they understood the magnitude of the moment, the meaning of, the meaning of momentum. And they were, they did what they needed to do, man.
Yeah, like I said, y'all legitimately have a good squad over there.
See, Deuce out here trying to hate. See, that's how you end up with 4 and 13 seasons, Deuce. Just like that, talking like that. Don't mess around and jinx your new head coach.
Wait a minute. Okay. We're gonna move on to the last little topic. I'm dead.
Dan, take the points, man. That's all we gotta say, man. It's been a good year. Looking forward to. That's why Brad is up there now. It's his turn. It's the off season. It's the draft season. I got to catch up with y'all who've been doing mocks for weeks and months. You know what I'm saying? I got to catch up with y'all. But yeah, it's draft time, baby. We need him to hit it out the park one more time. And if he does, man, we'll be right back. We got the coordinators back. We'll be right back.
Exactly. I'm so dead right now.
Dan Campbell does it again. Oh no, there go a double dose of DT.
We good now.
I had to ask you too, as objective watchers to the game. Whose fault what? Who if you had to assign fault percentage-wise, 50-50, 60-40, Dan or the players?
I would put maybe 50. I'll put 50-50, to be honest with you, bro.
I was going to say 50-50.
Because, like, the game plan started out hot. Guys go out 24. Guys are getting stops. The fourth downs was what blew me, because I understand, the analytics were pretty high in those situations, and the likelihood of getting it were probably, but I just felt like in that type of game, we know how the Shanahan system kind of is. Once you get up on them, it's highly unlikely they come back. Rarely. You rarely see them come back. We've seen Shanahan's record. He's like, what, 1 in 30 something when he's down by like 14 plus points. And I think having those 6 points in just running the ball, now they were adjusting a little bit to the run defense, but y'all were still running the ball at an effective rate where y'all could run the clock out on them. And the fumble didn't help. Multiple drops didn't help, because people were definitely open on crucial third downs, and it gave life to the 49ers. So I will have to go 50-50. But, man, like, that was the first time them guys in a moment, maybe outside of like a couple of players, mainly, Golf been in the NFC Championship. Dan Campbell, he, like he said, he gambled and he didn't win. So it's definitely gonna be.
That didn't do us no justice. That didn't really warm my heart at all.
Yeah,
when he said that. We know you lost. We seen you lost. What you mean? You damn so gamble, and we damn so lost. So you damn right. You gambled and you lost. Tell us something we don't know, God damn it. We saw you gamble. We saw you roll the dice, and you for sure crap the hell out 2 times, God damn it.
I mean, hey.
And I ain't gonna lie to you. Honestly, he was a bum for that. I ain't no other way to say it. He was that was terrible. That will go down as one of the worst performances that we have seen in that moment. If it was a Super Bowl, it would be right up there with, 28-3. I mean, it would be. It was terrible. But if we didn't have a kicker that can make the kick, we don't belong. We don't need to go either. Flat out, because you can't. I mean, 47, 48 yarders, they're not gimmies, but what we doing here? If you can't make that kick, we ain't deserve to go. I think the guy could have. Like I said, you let him kick a 54-yarder a couple weeks ago. I think he could have made at least one of them. Let's see him miss it. But yeah, we got to get better. Brad, get us a kicker, man. One that your coach believe in.
But as we move on to the last topic for the evening, because I'm telling you right now, hear me laughing so he can stop from crying. I'm just playing. Nah. He know, again. Detroit shocked a lot of people this year. I think a lot of people still knew that Detroit was going to go far, but again, they still have a good team down there. Still somebody to watch out for in the NFC. Give them a couple of more players, build on from this season, and I promise you, I don't think that's your last stop in the playoffs. I don't think that's your last stop.
Listen, Lady E, man. Listen, I'm gonna get real sober and real with y'all, transparent right now. I might not be, but one of the realest things that Dan told them boys that might have been your best shot. Now, I think he said that to motivate them, you know what I'm saying? Let them know it's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Don't become a diva now. It's going to be hard. Now it's going to be, you're going to have a target on your back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But also with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I saw this game very similar, a team very similar to this in 1991. And I'm like, yeah, we built to last. We're going to be back. And 32 years later, I'm seeing the second trip. So there ain't no guarantees out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping we do. In Brad, we trust. I'm hoping. But ain't no guarantees. And we're going to see, man. I see our schedule for next year. It looks a little rough. We have the NFC West and the AFC South. And then I think we have Buffalo, Dallas, and maybe Tampa Bay as well. So first place schedule is it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, but eager to see what we do in the offseason. Yeah. Like I said, man, Mykonos and Cabo and Turks and everything, they nice this time of year. So we're gonna put our foot up.
Exactly. So tonight we have the East and West Shrine Bowl coming up. Well, it's on actually right now. It's actually on right now, but We got the East and West Shrine Bowl, and then everybody already knows that we got the Senior Bowl coming up too as well. Got a lot of buzz going on about the Senior Bowl at this point in time. So, DT, I'm gonna let you take it for here for the East and West Shrine.
Okay, I gotta find my list. Okay, so a couple of players that I seen didn't really get an opportunity. I knew that the East-West Shrine game was tonight, but because of work and trying to keep up with all the other stuff, mainly coaching, we just got our coach today. So a couple of players I want to highlight that I feel like would have a great opportunity to showcase himself in the game. One of these players is Isaiah Williams, former quarterback / wide receiver for University of Illinois. He's a very twitchy athlete. Definitely could see him starting somewhere maybe or develop into a good slot receiver with him playing quarterback. He knows how to sit in zone coverages. Another guy that I definitely love, he is also from Illinois, guy named Tip Ryman, the tight end, very solid wide blocking tight end, moves the line of scrimmage. He has had a decent week with catching. People are very impressed with him, solid hands. He's giving me very John Bates vibes for the Washington Commanders. Doesn't wow you on tape with speed and everything, but a solid contributor, somebody you can get on day 3. And let me go, because I'm an HBCU guy. I got to give the guys love. Let's go ahead. And my sister's going to love this. I don't know where my sister at. She's going to love it. But I'm going to give Ahmed Dakwa, tackle from Howard University, 6'7", 362. Guy is humongous. He is from the DMV area. And this is a guy that I feel like Washington should target and develop on their team.
Okay. They oh yeah, they're talking about Frank Gore's son right now. Oh, he's shorter than him. He's only 5'7".
He's like 5'7".
Yeah, he's shorter than him. That's cute.
Pause. Can he get low like his daddy?
I don't think so. He already to the ground. I don't think you can get any lower. Yeah, so we right now, because like I said, I've been actually paying attention to the Senior Bowl than the East and West Shrine as far as players. There are a couple of Georgia players out there, 2 of them to be exact. But it looks like with the Senior Bowl, there's been a lot of noise going on with a couple of people that are coming. I mean, they're saying Penix, looks the part of what we've been seeing on film, so nothing different. With that, Sam Hartman is out there. He's not getting any type of.
Sam I am not looking good.
They said Sam I am is going to be destined to be a pure backup, maybe even a coach sometime soon, because he's in there.
Oh, not a coach sometime soon,
because he's in there with Penix and Bo Nix, and they're saying you can see the drop off between him and those two. Bo Nix, they're giving Bo Nix and saying Bo Nix is kind of what I thought he was, but a lot of people is seeing that now that you're gonna have to simplify the offense for him to get Bo Nix what he's doing, kind of what kind of what they doing in Miami for Tua. So that's what they're saying right now. Other quarterbacks that are there, Milton, Rattler, and the QB from Tulane, but they're saying Milton has a big arm, just no accuracy, and Rattler is showing the inconsistency that we already knew that he had. So again, these quarterbacks are not moving the needle. Maybe.
There is one quarterback. His name is
quarterback moving the needle.
Michael Preston.
Oh yeah. Is that the QB from Tulane?
Yep. I actually liked him. He's solid, can play under center, quick, decisive, big, gives you Will Levis vibes size-wise. He's been showing up, man. He been throwing that die. He might grow. He might grow on some coaches and stuff, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Is he a day 2 or day 3 type guy, or?
I would probably say
I'm gonna say day 2.
Day
I would
2?
say day 2 if you're looking for backup for right now. Unless he can wow more people at the combine. If he got invited, if not, it's gonna be pro day. If he can wow a couple of coaches, then we can see that. But yeah, probably day 2.
I'm gonna go watch more games of him, man. He's showing up a little bit.
Yeah. This is a strong wide receiver class. So here goes my biases for today. I'm sorry, this is my biasy. But Lad McConkey has been showing what all Georgia fans have known Lad McConkey to be. So yeah, I am excited for that. But again, Lad has to do a lot of things because he actually was coming out with his draft grade was to be a day 2, possibly day 3 guy. He could have stayed one more year at Georgia, but I think a lot of the question marks and the big question mark for him is going to be the injuries because, again, when he started off this season, there was talks of back spasms, and then he caught a high ankle sprain. So, and then he did kind of get hurt, too, when we won our second championship as well. He had a knee injury that he played through, but he injured it again in the SEC championship game. So, again, there's a lot of question marks for him, but I think, with this Senior Bowl, it's helping him make himself a good, solid day 2 guy. So I'm going to give that to Lad. Shout out to Lad McConkey for doing that. But he's showing out. I know everybody has been talking about Jerry Rice's son. He has been showing out, too, at the Senior Bowl. So, this wide receiver class, to be honest with you, this year is very heavy. It is very wide receiver heavy. So, I'm not going to be surprised to see a run probably late first round, second round on wide receivers this year. But where I want to talk about is these tackles. Now, these tackles coming out. These some big boys.
You talking about O tackles or D tackles? Which one are we talking about?
No, we talking about offensive line tackles.
Yeah. That's a big boy.
The only reason I'm skipping over the D line because I don't know about y'all, but there was a lot of teams that showed that they offensive line needs milk. Okay, but these tackles are coming out. These some big boys, and I think I had a conversation today about pass pro because it seemed like we get a lot of guys, and I know we were complaining about it. I want to say last draft class last year when it came down to some of these offensive linemen having the short hands, not short hand but short arms. You know what I mean? So I had the conversation. I was putting a little theory together. Y'all know me. I'm a research person. So I noticed that a lot of good pass protection guys are your bigger guys. Those that do a little bit better in the run back are going to be your guys with them short arms. But I feel like this tackle class is very strong. I really feel that way. So I'm not going to lie. We're going to see a very heavy run on offensive linemen. This upcoming draft class. So it's right now from all the synopsis and from people that are saying this, it's some guys out there that are really standing out. It's even some guys that are like, shoot, I've done well these first 2 days. I ain't even got to practice today. So it's a lot of dudes that are out there that are really bringing in their draft stock again. I can't wait for the combine to see what they do, everything else, interviews and everything like that. But right now at the Senior Bowl, it looks like it's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't been able to dive into it as much, but I did see some practice. I think it was yesterday, and the young man Zakenyon Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo. He's looking like he's putting up a good showing for himself. We obviously has needs at the cornerback spot, so that definitely interests me. And the big fella, man, Tavondre Sweat, the big fella from Texas. He's a big interior guy who looks like he should be a hog against the run, but it looks like he's definitely moving the pocket as well out there at the Senior Bowl. A guy who definitely interests us because, again, we need a little bit more pressure up front. So those are just a couple of guys that I've kind of seen.
Yeah, he looks good he would look good in the 3-4 as a pure nose tackle with that
Yeah,
one
he
as
look all right. He look unstoppable. He look like a problem. That's what he looked like, a big old
six three something. That's a problem.
Woo.
6'3", and he's I think it was. Don't get me and don't quote me on this. I want to say he's around like 6'3", 320. That's a big boy for 6'3".
Yeah, that's he's a big fella. So, but yeah, I'm gonna dive more into it and start ranking these prospects, man.
It's getting to draft season. We in full effect. Once the Super Bowl pass, again, we're going to dive in a little bit more, kind of going in, especially when it's time for combine time. Y'all, it is going to be a good because this, I think everybody is looking at the quarterback, especially if you're a team like me and DTT, we need a QB. All eyes are going to be on this QB class. Wide receiver class is heavy. There's some good corners. There's some good safeties. Very good offensive linemen. Very good D linemen as well. So we're gonna see. This is gonna be one of them draft classes that is gonna shock a lot of folk.
Can't wait. The draft is in Detroit, everybody. So definitely, if you're pulling up, come pull up, baby. Detroit is ready to meet and greet all fans from all across the nation. So definitely come up, visit DetroitMan.com, man. You know what I'm saying?
And
check out
make
all
sure
the happenings that are going on. The city is getting ready for y'all for sure.
Look, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Make sure y'all know the song that is Cold in the D. Just make sure y'all understand and know the song.
Nice.
All right.
We ain't gonna worry about that. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice, man. Tigers game's gonna be popping. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be nice.
Look, it better not be no snow. That's all I gotta say.
In April, no, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Late April, it shouldn't be.
Okay, because I'm just saying,
spring in the D.
No, I'm just saying, but you know how sometimes Chicago getting y'all right there. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I hope in April we good. I hope in April.
I'm just I don't trust y'all spring up there in the north. I ain't even we ain't even talk about that. I don't trust y'all spring in the north. Y'all talk about it spring, it ain't even spring. It's still some flurries.
Well, I mean, you're talking about 60-degree weather now. I mean, it ain't gonna be, 84. You know what I'm saying? Down there.
Look, I'm just but
that's the spring down there, 84, and humidity on 86%.
Look, I'm gonna just say it like this. We waiting on the groundhog to see what he gonna do tomorrow, okay? To let us know, because I'm just gonna let you know right now. Y'all be having some weird weather up there in the north. That's all I gotta say. Y'all have weird weather in the north. It can be springtime and then they talking about flurries. Flurries in the spring. Better be some rain or something, not no snow flurries.
We ready.
Just make sure y'all know it's cold in the D. That's all I gotta say. DC, do you have anything else regarding any type of college football going on right now before we shut it
down? No, I'm just going to watch these prospects and probably go in this commander space because now this Chip Kelly news is hitting us. And
they already got the space up.
I'm about to go see. I don't know about this one, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I wonder, you know what? I don't want to start no another conversation. We can actually leave this for next week, but just to leave on this note, is the new NIL and the landscape of NIL affecting some of these college coaches and having them look for other jobs?
Yeah, without
that Saban and Harbaugh and some of these coaches, the coach from Boston College became the DC for Green Bay. Yeah. So. Is it running these folks away from college football?
I'll be honest with you, from the look on Kirby Smart's face and kind of some buzz that is being said, he's saying it's hard and he might not even last. And I'm hoping that we get some changes in there, because if not, you're gonna get you're gonna push all these coaches out, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be rotating coaches like you rotating the kids. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the same, because again, you got to spend all of this time. Like I feel like recruiting was already hard enough, but now you got to go spend all this extra time to go recruit. And now you got to go sit over here. And the first question that's coming out of these 17-year-olds you know, because some of them ain't turning 18 and later, but some of these 17 and 18-year-olds mouth how much money I'm getting. Boy, I'll knock you in your teeth. Don't like. I want you to ask me, how am I going to be developed to make it to the NFL? I need you to ask me that. What is the development? How can you help me make my game? Not how much the bag going to be. Now, because all you want, like, again, I feel like these kids and even some of the parents, as a parent myself, I'll backhand the heck out of my son and he sit over there. I said, don't you ask that. You want to school for free.
But you know, sometimes it's the mama and the daddy who asking the question.
Exactly.
They want to know.
But see, and this is just me. And then I'm gonna stop because I'll get into a whole little thing. But this is just me. I understand parents paid a lot of money into these kids to get them to where they are because my mama did the same for me. She invested in me in sports and she invested in me in paying my dance classes. Like I promise you, how much I paid for dance classes and even going to like Barbizon modeling college. And if I start adding that all up, y'all gonna be saying that she could have used that money to pay for my college tuition and I could have went for free with how much money that we paid to do all of that. I get it. You put a lot of this money into your kid to get them to where they get, but they don't owe you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't owe you nothing. They don't. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. They don't owe you anything. Like you did that because you saw something in your child. I get it. But some of these parents are looking at it, well, he owed me. I got him to where he at. He can pay for me. No. No. That's just what I'm just saying. Because no, your child don't owe you nothing because the only thing that you did was give your child life. You should be still supporting your child in what they decide to do, not worrying about how much M's there's gonna be at the end of his name because he owe you. No. I just hate that it got that way. Because we already seen mamas getting mad at the announcement because they wanted their kid to go here, but they chose to go somewhere else. And you got mamas walking up mid-announcement mad. Like, this ain't about you. It's not about you.
True
it's
that.
about your child. It's not about
True
you.
That.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, everybody used to ask me, like, well, if your son plays sports and he doesn't pick Georgia and he picks Alabama, I said, look, first of all, my son ain't going to do that because I'm going to train him well. But in the same token, if he does, I'm going to be there. I'm just going to have on the hat. I'm going to have on a Georgia shirt, but I'm going to have a sign to say my son number such and such. I'll make sure that everybody know, hold on, mama wanted Georgia, but I'm going to go ahead and still support my baby. That's just what it is. But again, I just feel like he said, this NIL has turned this into free agency on the college level. And I think it's going to take away from the game. I think you know, I really think it's just going to take away from the game because all these kids now is just worrying about how many M's you've given them. Well, it's not even M's, it's thousands, but how many M's you give them?
Some of them getting them if you that guy. Some of them getting them, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, you know what I mean?
Don't quarterback from Texas, he got some M's. That guy, Ewers, he got some M's.
Yeah, so, but that's what I said. Like, I mean, I get it. I understand, you know, to pay these kids because they're putting their life on the end. But I'm sorry, y'all's putting y'all life on the end when y'all's playing Pee Wee. Just saying.
Paying them.
Okay, you paying them
for your uniform, paying them for your little fees and dues, having little barbecue salads, little fundraisers, all that.
Yeah, especially when you started learning how to tackle. Some of them kids that know how to tackle, they was jumping on them kids. So
they're over your life and risk.
Paying for going over there, being on the side of the road. Hey, we're trying to do some fundraisers and stuff. Shoot, like what are we talking about right now?
I'm gonna stop before I talk about what Mama was doing for playing time for Lil Ray Ray, but I'm gonna stop.
You know what? All right, y'all.
This has been real.
We coming up to the end at this point. See, Henry then got back unsober, y'all. So
somebody hear my opinion, godly. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think y'all back in 2021? Well, it was just y'all two. Man, I ain't gonna get my opinion out, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you was in the phone. I didn't know if you was in the chat.
I was in the room or what? I'm saying it was stir fry. It looked good. Then y'all try to feed each other. You ain't want to give me a piece.
sorry, brother.
Oh, you want
look,
you wanted a Popeye biscuit? You want honey with it? You want some Popeyes?
Yeah,
Okay.
long as I'm sure I'm good. But look, like to your point, definitely we're seeing a change of the guard with the coaches. These coaches are dealing with NIL. They're dealing with trying to get 5 stars to stay at school consistently. They're leaving after 1 year, knowing they had another 5-star, 4-star there, and they're giving them opportunity. Recruiting has changed. NILs has a lot to do with that. Then you also have some of these players that are transferring and they're taking up spots for these kids, and fan bases are getting mad because you're letting a good talented kid leave out of your organization and building, and they're elsewhere, and you're failing on those expectations. So I'm pretty sure it's way better for somebody to just go in the morning and clock out knowing you're an NFL offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special team guy, than trying to recruit 18 and 19-year-olds like E said and deal with all the drama that's going on with college football right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about that with grown men, because all grown men see is money anyway. So the whole conversation is about money. I just don't feel like it should be that way when it comes down to these 17, 18s and possibly 19-year-olds if they're transferring as
and
well.
What's crazy is, they started recruiting these kids when they're in, some of these kids
junior high.
In junior high. So we're talking about 13, 14, 15-year-olds who moms or they may be asking, well, what does this look like? Or what is this?
Exactly.
Let me start you know what I'm saying? So they may want something up front just to sit down and talk to you. So it's a dirty game, man. It's going to get real crazy, but yeah, it's crazy. And some of those teams, like, Mr. Hatley was from Boston College. I don't know what Boston College NIL is looking like. So maybe he was like, I won't be able to compete with some of these other teams. So let me jump on this train to Green Bay, if you will.
And get your paper, and you ain't got to worry about that no more. That, like I said, that's just the sad part about college football right now, the state of college football. Like, I hope there is something done to put the love back into it, because if not, you still gonna get fans cheering for it, but you ain't gonna get them happy about these players. Because signing day used to be that day.
Yeah.
Signing day used to be that day. Child.
So I guess this is the end of the show, right?
Yeah, we've come to the end. We've come to the end of the show. This is the Enter the Lab podcast. Make sure you're following everyone. And Dan, man, get better, man, for next year, man. Please, man. Dial it back just a little bit, brother. Please, brother. That's all I got.
He said, dial it back, just the Lord Jesus. He just got to get better.
Yeah. Speaking of Dan, you guys can also catch us tonight. Owning the Huddle will be going live to discuss the hiring of Dan Quinn, and now with this developing news about Chip Kelly being the candidate, and also just said he interviewed for the Raiders job too. I ain't know that. So there is interest, man. Oh my God, this puppy nasty.
And for the head job or the
OC, the OC.
Job.
Oh. So he want out. He want out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a taste of the NFL before. He just needed it. He went over there and started coaching back in college. Got trying to make his way back up to be another head coach.
Interesting.
So with that being said, this is Enter the Lab podcast. DT, Lady E, C. Henry. We'll catch you guys next week as we discuss the Senior Bowl and we give our Super Bowl picks. Oh my God, the season's about to end. We're gonna miss y'all.
It's all because of Dan.
We see you guys.
He's having flashbacks.
Damn it, Dan.
He having flashbacks.
Lieutenant Dan, damn.
No, you need to tell him ice cream, Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.